Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Open Office Hours. I am Crystal. I will let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey, everybody. It's Tatiana. Hi, everyone. I'm Brandy, part of the team here at Syncro.
Happy Friday, everyone. It's Hannah.
Yes, and welcome everyone. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is Open Office Hours. You get an entire hour to ask questions. So we primarily use the Q&A. So if you see us glancing over at a different screen, that's probably us just monitoring those questions as they roll in. It really does not matter if you are in a trial of Synchro, never seen Synchro, or have been a customer for a year or so. It does not matter. Whatever questions you have, please pop those into the Q&A. We're going to do our best to get through them all. We are super transparent and honest, so if we don't have the answers, we will tell you. So if we seem to be skipping your question, we're probably figuring it out in the back end, or we'll just let you know that that might be a question that you'd need to submit into technical support. So welcome, and those that are returning, thank you for joining us again. We're excited. We have a special guest with us today that's going to help us out on the panel. So welcome, Naomi. Oh, you're muted, Naomi.
I'm muted. Yep. Hey, everyone. Good to be here. Thanks for introducing me.
Yeah, Naomi. Do you want to give us just kind of that quick little rundown of maybe how long you've been with us and what you do here?
Yeah, so I do technical support for Syncro. Been with the company for almost 5 years now. Yeah, and through that I've worn a bunch of hats too. So hopefully I'll have a lot of breadth of experience for you all to answer some questions.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. We're very, very happy that you're here. So like I mentioned before, I see some questions already rolling in. So this is great. We use the Q&A and it looks like we've already got some questions flowing in. So I will kind of pass this over to Brandy and let her take this one.
Sure. Yeah, I have a couple questions in here. So the first one I'm going to go through is, and by the way, yes, you can ask any questions. There's no agenda here, so feel free to do so. So we have subcontractors who need to post their time against a customer. They don't need full access, just the ability for them to post their time. Is there any way to do this without having to purchase a full license? So at the time, we don't have any type of like a mix and match or a read-only limited user type of a license. It is something that we hear loud and clear. A lot of our users have requested this, and I do think that it's something that we will add, but it's not currently. So you would have to have a license for that currently. And with that, you can restrict certain access. So sometimes people don't want a full license because they don't want to give them access to the financials or scripting, things like that. You can absolutely restrict access to whatever you would like to in the system. But because of security, it's really great to have everyone with their own license, of course, to be able to log that. And then I have another one in here. Can we have custom fields added when a customer submits a ticket via the portal? Currently, they can just enter a subject and description. Currently, the only items there are, you're right, the subject and description are the only way that they can add what they're looking for inside of a ticket. One thing that I want to let you know, if you do want to have like, if you want to give your customers a little bit more ability, I guess, to choose what their issue is, you can use multiple agent contact forms. So inside I'm inside of Synchro Live just to show you guys what it looks like, but you can create agent contact forms on a policy level. I have an agent contact form here and one that says emergency ticket. So you might have one that says emergency. You might have one that says printer broke, or whatever your choices are. You're giving them a little bit more selection there. They look almost identical for the customer, but they're going to trigger different things in the back end depending on how you have that set up. So I would utilize these agent contact forms from their system tray icon if you're looking to give your customers a little bit more flexibility in choosing what their issue is.
Okay, I did see one from Brad Otto regarding QuickBooks. He's asking, let's see here. So So we probably can't do the whole walkthrough, but I can give you kind of a, TLDR version of how the purchase order system works with QuickBooks. So essentially, when you set it up, and it only works on QuickBooks and Xero, just for anybody who's curious. When you set it up, there's going to be an option that says accounts payable. You set up an account there, and when you create the purchase order, the system's going to map to the vendor, and it's going to push that purchase order over. You have the option to automatically bill if you want as well. And how that would work is that once you start to do the check-in, so once your items come in, the system will then see that the order is finished, and then it will create the bill for you inside of QuickBooks. The error that you're describing, it sounds like there might be an issue with the account that you have set up. And unfortunately, we would have to dive into your account to take kind of a closer look at that to see what might be causing that. So for that, I suggest reaching out to technical support. We can look at your account pretty quickly and just see if that account that you have set up is valid.
Awesome. Thank you. So glad you're here. I don't know those things.
No worries.
Very much appreciated. Okay, I'm going to read this one out loud from Oren. When forwarding an email to a ticket using the subject ticket number, the email is logged to the ticket as a note. Unfortunately, this triggers a notification to our customers. How can we forward an email to a ticket without a notification going to the customer? Also, is there a way to say this should be a public or a private note? So let me just share my screen really quick because I really only have one suggestion here. I don't believe there's a way to configure whether it's a public or a private note, but when you're forwarding in a ticket, if you see your ticket preferences here, there is a setting that says, and I can't remember if it's in the additional settings, I think it is. Ticket comments, do not email either this, do not email comments by default, or do not email initial issue by default. So anything that you're forwarding in, it puts it as that first note. And so depending on how you have these settings set up, it will trigger an email to your customer. So I would kind of reference this to see if you can customize that in a way that would make sense for your workflow. I've got a couple other ones in here. Ken wants to know, is there the ability to audit a network for devices with no agent and install that way? So we don't have like a traditional network discovery at this point. We do have like an SNMP walk script that you could probably, if you have an agent installed on a machine on the network, you could run that script, but not the traditional network discovery at this time. A question just really quick. Sorry, I'm going probably pretty fast, but is it possible? Are you working on SSO options for portal users? Great question. At this point, this is a feature request. I'm not sure that I've seen this on the roadmap, but I'm happy to pass that along. And then we've got one, and this is interesting because this comes up often. If I have Synchro and another IT contractor has Synchro, can we give each other access to the other's console since we both are paying for our own Synchro accounts? At this, it's kind of an interesting scenario. Of course, it depends on if you are if you give each other access and you want access to all of the customers, if you're more getting access to one customer, of course, we have single customer permissions, but it would be adding another user. So traditionally, this would be an additional license cost. Yes. Is that all I grabbed? I think so. I think I'm going to pass it on to Tatiana.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. I am going to just take the top two here. Question from Lynn. She says, I'm trialing Synchro. Welcome. Welcome. Thinking of moving over from SolarWinds. I am confused about setting up the Windows updates from the RMM. It looks like I have to set them up. Aren't there existing policies to update Windows and third-party applications? And second question is similar. How can we see running patch installs when we click on install patches? We are not sure which ones are running. So I'm going to address both of those for you guys today. I'm going to share my screen. we're gonna just jump straight into it. So I did do a deep dive on this a couple of months ago. I will share that link into the chat box for you guys to see. But yes, you do have to set up your Windows patches in the way that makes the most sense for you. The way that you do this is if you go over to More and Policies, you guys are gonna have all 4 of these right here out of the box for you to choose from. You do not have to use these. You can clean these up, clear them out, make your own. So I'm going to show this base package right here, and I'll show you where to find those patch settings. It is a super easy setup. You scroll down just a little ways and you see this update, Windows Update section. You can go ahead and open that in a new tab. There's other ways to get there as well. But again, when you're initially setting up your Windows patch policies, we let you choose between which patch categories you would like to allow versus the ones that you want to block. So these ones that you've selected that are allowed to run will run on this schedule that you specify here. And you can also tell Synchro how you want it to respond if there is a reboot required. And so what happens to the rest of these that you've left blank is they will be blocked, and they're going to start filtering in as missing in the Windows Patch Management section on the individual asset level. You can push them from there, or you can do it in bulk. In the reports section, there's 2 that I'm going to show you real quick. And again, I know I'm kind of flying through this. I will post a very in-depth recording for you that you can grab that link before the session's over, before it disappears. So these are the 2 reports. The vulnerable patches report will show you which KB is missing across how many assets. So if you wanted to, you did your test, you're like, yep, this one's good to go, let's go ahead and push it. You could do it that way. Or you could select multiples. And again, I know this says 1 here, but let's pretend this said like 10 or 23 or 17, whatever. It would run these 3 patches across all of those assets that are missing it. So that is how you could push them in bulk. Second report is kind of the inverse of that first one. This is a good troubleshooting one. I hear some MSPs that run this one on a schedule to where it kind of just gives you a list of, hey, these are the assets, this is how many they're missing. This one, something weird's going on, it's missing a ton of patches. Let's go ahead and either take a closer look. So it'll give you the link directly right there. And then you can tab over to the Windows patches and you can see, all right, something's going on. Oh, it's offline. Okay, that makes sense. So to answer the second question, there isn't a like a Windows patch status, like in progress or something like that. They're either going to be missing or they're going to be recently installed. So I would use this individual view to see if you're trying to troubleshoot on one specific machine or either of those other 2 reports. And I hope that is helpful to you.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in here. I have a question from Oren Safko. It's a bit of a long question. I think it's probably got 3 parts in here. The first one, it says, with appointment booking module, I'm able to have it use business and holiday hours. However, I can't tie the appointment booking calendar to a specific type of appointment. So when someone looks at an appointment, they get an email that is voted location information and contact phone information. So for that one, we do have an appointment type that you can set for things just like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen very quickly. Okay, so if we go to, gotta move that Zoom thing out of the way. Okay, so if we go to our admin settings, there's going to be an option that says appointment types. So you can set the appointment type here, and you can say something, if it's for a holiday calendar or something like that, you can click on new appointment type, you name it appropriately, and then you'll put your email here and everything. And then once you have that set up, you can then go in, and when you create an appointment, let's just click any ticket here. Actually, I wanted to show you this with the custom widget, because I think this will also help you with your other issue. So the other thing that you can use for appointment booking is the custom widgets. So that's going to be found, I'm just going to kind of go back here. Okay. I'm going to find that here. Okay. So you could create something like this. You could say, okay, we'll want the issue details. This is what's going to be used when the client creates the ticket. And then you can go to the appointment, and then you can select that appointment type. So that appointment time that's selected is going to send that customized message and settings that you put in that appointment type. Further to this, you can put the appointment owner. So that way you don't know, who this belongs to. You can put the appointment owner there. And in fact, I've seen some users kind of create their own separate appointment flows so that people can then book appointments with particular technicians for particular issues. So that's one of the things that you can do there. And then for that other question, sorry, let me go ahead and stop share really quick. The other one was, okay. We can embed them within our, okay, how these widgets are capable of utilizing business or holiday hours. That, for that, I mean, I think it's, the custom widgets on the appointment should still be blocking out holiday hours, if that's what you mean. If not, there might be something that is broken there. So we'll have to take a look at that. But the widget should, the appointment booking module there should correspond to what you have set in your business hours. Yeah, so I hope I didn't miss anything, but I think that's about it right there.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I've got a couple in here. The first one is from Liz. So are there options to limit the fields available on a ticket depending on what type of ticket it is or something? So there's a couple different things here that I will show you. On a ticket, there's not really a way to just like choose, okay, if it's this type of ticket, I'm only going to show these sections, but there are certain things that you can trigger. So things like worksheets, right? If I choose that it's a certain custom field type, then I can have certain worksheets appear. So that would be one way that you can do this. Another is if we head over into the admin section, we go down to tickets and we go to workflows. So with workflows, you can set like a default workflow if you would like to. Let me just open up one of these here. So you can choose like the different sections here, and then you'd be able to like move them up and down. You can hide them, you can require them. So you can absolutely use this, and you can choose to add additional sections, and you can run this particular workflow if you would prefer that way. But it's not going to be assigned to a particular type that I'm aware of at the time, but really good feature requests. And then I've got another one. So is there a general installer that I can push down through GPO, and will it pick up the client's computer name automatically? So inside of a customer, let me just open up a customer. If you go to new and you go to the Rmm Agent Installer here, you're going to be able to choose a policy, and then you can copy a link. So you can use the MSI installer here in order to install over group policy if you would like to do that. I think there's a couple more in here that I have. So Derek, I think this is a feature request here, but he is referring to the tickets, and I think you're referring to, when you say user, I think you mean the technician view. So he would really like for all users to see all tickets, including their own, but easily distinguish between theirs and the rest. So I can see some type of queue. I do think that we'll have some enhancements to the ticket views. I don't have a timeline on that, but I will tell you a couple different ways that you could set this up. So yes, you can customize the different headings that you show in here. You can also sort by text. So anything with that's blue that's highlighted, you can sort that way, but you can also set up a saved search. So if you want to just really easily be able to view your tickets, then you could also do it that way. So I would recommend using the save search, and you can have a default search if you would like to. And I think I've got maybe one more in here. Brad, okay, so what happens if you have a client on Synchro with no Windows update policy at all? Will Synchro still take over and disable updates? So if there is no policy at all, then Synchro is not going to touch anything, like it's not going to change any of your Windows updates. So if it was like a break fix customer or something like that, and you have a policy installed that doesn't have a Windows update policy, nothing's going to happen from our side on that. So whatever is on the local device would continue. And then one last one I'll go ahead and take. So Manuel says, when we create invoices, we are allowed to upload, are we allowed to upload attachments? Is there a way to send those attachments to the client as well? So yes, right now you're sending those outside of Synchro. So let me share again. If I open up an invoice, before I send this over, there is a section for attachments. So if you want to go ahead and attach something here, then that would go ahead and send over with your particular, with your invoice whenever you go to email this. And then you can choose which files too. So hopefully that helps.
Great. Thank you, Randy. Okay. Ken wants to know, how do you stop Silverlight from installing? So let me just share my screen because I just, while Brandy was talking, I just was looking at this really quick. So I'm in the application or in the policy in the third-party application patch management policy. So I'm just going to scroll down. As you can see, you can now add additional applications. And I did a quick just query here, and I do see Silverlight. So if you add this, if this is, you know, any of these versions, and you want them, you can add this application, and then you can see that you have the option to do not install. So I think that if it was across several endpoints, this would be the best way to do that. Let me see here. Rob says install script. If you have the agent installed on one system, which script do you run to have the agent deploy on all other systems? So we don't necessarily have a network probe at this point, but what we do have is if it was like, if you had group policy on that one endpoint that you are describing, if you head over to your Rmm Agent Installer, you do have the ability, you can select your package and you have an MSI installer. So that is what I would recommend there to install en masse. And Brian, this is a great feature request. So the main enhancement that I'm gathering from this is the basically a warning in our system if you're about to create a duplicate product name. So you can create products that have the same exact name in Synchro. We have unique identifiers for product IDs, but I can see that would make sense to have like a little bit of a warning. So I can definitely filter that up. And then I was gonna just kind of, and Naomi, if you have feedback on this one, please feel free to interrupt me, but I was just gonna, is there a way to turn off the paid receipt from being sent to the client when you want to send the paid invoice? So, I mean, in the invoice settings itself, you do have the ability to like turn off automatically email paid invoice PDF if they pay from the customer portal. I'm just not sure if there's any other setting in here that might disable that. Am I missing anything, Naomi?
There is another option. If you're using recurring invoices, there is a checkbox there to send this paid receipt, so you can leave that unchecked. If you're sending the invoice from your invoice tab, when you send the invoice, there's going to be checkboxes for the paid receipt as well. So if you leave those unchecked, it won't send that paid receipt.
Oh, that's really, really smart. So yes, the one-off invoices, that's awesome. And then I'll just show really quickly, if it is a reoccurring invoice, you're saying in here, mail.
Right, email customer payment receipt. So if you leave that unchecked, then it won't send them that payment receipt.
Perfect. Okay. See, perfect. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate that. Let me see if there was any other that I grabbed. I don't think so. All right. I will pass it over.
Okay,
Awesome. Sorry.
sorry,
Go
go
ahead. Go ahead, Naomi.
This one was from Matthew DeVille. He asked, I have imported all my customers from Xero and Syncro and now have duplicate customers showing. Should I run the Atera PowerShell script to install the agent before I merge the customers? Then if I merge the customers, will it merge the agents? How is it best to change the PowerShell script to pick up the customer name, as at the moment it seems to fail? With this, I actually think it's best to fix the customer list before running the Atera script. You want to make sure that that customer list looks good and solid, or else you're going to get errors. So there are various ways that we can do that. I know tech support has like a bulk update method that we can look into. So for that, I also would recommend just submitting a ticket to tech support, let them know that you have duplicate customers. And what we can probably do is just look at the different dates that the imports happened, and then maybe correct the customers from there. So we'll have a couple of options for you, but we will need to go into your account, and just to make sure, you know, things go smoothly moving forward, it would be best just to kind of hold off on the script till then.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's super helpful, Naomi. I have a question here from Kim. He says, how to stop repeating offline alerts without having to mute So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys a couple things. So you are correct. And the one way that you can stop the RMM alerts from alerting is to mute. For those of you that don't know, if you go over to your alert section, they will exist here. If you click this little button here, you can say mute for how long, for just that one asset, or all alerts. That would be the first step. Sounds like you do not want to do that, so I'll give you a couple others. You can go over to the specific endpoint here. You can say action and put it into maintenance mode. And so what that will do is if you're running active tests on this machine and you don't want to go mute, 5,000 different alerts, you can go ahead and just put this specific machine into maintenance mode, and those will not come through. Then once that time expires, it'll go back to normal. Another way, and this one is the most obvious, but for those of you that are new to Synchro or just testing, I wanted to, obviously, if you don't have a that specific trigger set here on the policy. So like if you don't have, if it's not important to you that, the CEO's personal computer is offline, that's more important for servers or whatever it might be, you can make sure that in the policy, you just don't have that set as a trigger. So if that's left blank, it will not alert you in any way. And again, this set of settings that you're adjusting in your entire policy is what's applying to this set of endpoints. So that would be another way to do it. The other last one I'll mention before I hand it back, or before I'm done with this specific question, is in the admin section. If you go over to your notification center, and this is just kind of like a general tip, this is how you choose to be alerted on the events that are the most important to you. Now, again, there isn't a way to classify between what type of RMM alerts. Again, that would need to be done either through automated remediation or just setting that in the policies. But again, for the rest of your alerts or events that happen in Synchro, this is where you choose how you want to be alerted. So if that offline alert is going off and your email is full, maybe you want to just get a quick notification in-app here through Synchro. So Ken, hopefully that is helpful to you. I'll grab this next question here from, I think it's Penny. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I did not. Feature request. I want to give my clients remote access for their system within Synchro. Yes. Super, super popular request. We do integrate with 3 different remote access tools, and we have our own. So you have 4 options to choose from, but unfortunately, it definitely is a feature request at this time that we hear pretty often. And as you guys know, we ship things that you guys ask us for. So please keep those requests coming, and we will prioritize them as we can. Naomi, let me know if you're ready, or I can grab the next one on the list here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just checking something. I am ready, actually. I just finished. Bryant Trope asks, second issue, I'm having a problem resetting customer portal users. I have a user that I was trying to disable and recreate to enable 2FA. I've unchecked the enable portal user. When I try to re-enable, it says that it already exists. For this one, I'm not sure if this is what you're describing. It doesn't sound you're actually deleting the portal user, which is what I think you'll actually have to do. If you delete the portal user and add them again and then put that 2FA on, that should work. I went ahead and tested that just to make sure that it's, there's not some lingering setting there. But that would be what you would want to do to reset that user, that portal user specifically.
Super helpful. Thank you. Question here from Heidi. Is there a way to create a saved view for invoices? I want to be able to view invoices not emailed to review before sending them out. Current process involves expanding advanced to find the drop-down menu, select no for emailed, hoping to save a couple clicks if possible. Yes, I do have a suggestion for this. I'm going to share my screen. Instead of saying this is a feature request, I want to see if you would consider a maybe like a process shift in the way that you handle this. So sometimes when people are reviewing tickets and pending ticket charges, you can do this obviously on a ticket per ticket basis, to where you've tracked the time, you've decided what time you want to be charged. So I'm going to go ahead and charge this just to show this example in here. And then you can view this on a ticket per ticket basis of the time that you chose to bill for any additional products or services that you're selling to your customer. So this is going to be where you can view this on a individual ticket per ticket basis. And so one way that I have seen other MSPs do this, just based on speaking with you guys every day, demo to demo, is sometimes I've seen people set a either a custom status or a custom, I believe it's the status. So you can say, for example, like if you are the one that's reviewing the ticket charges, you can say, yep, So let me back up one step. Once your tech is done with the work, customer is happy, work is complete, they can set it to a custom status that says something like resolved, ready to invoice, or resolved, needs to be checked, something like that. And putting that resolved status first means that it will stop that ticket timer countdown to resolution. So if you guys are tracking SLAs, things like that, make sure you put the resolved status there first. So you could put it in a resolved, ready to invoice status. And then here in your ticket section, let me open that back up here. You could create a saved ticket search. So that is currently available within Synchro. So if you go over to the ticketing section, you can say sort by date, or you can, again, create a brand new one. You can modify the filters. And for your view, you can make sure that you create a saved ticket search that only pulls in that specific status that you want to see that says resolved, ready to invoice. So you would see a ticket, basically all the tickets in that queue that you need to check on a daily basis, weekly basis, however often that you need to. And so from your perspective, now that the tech's work is done, they put it in resolved, ready to invoice. When you make the reviews and you're like, yep, this is exactly what we meant to bill for, yep, this is the rate that we're charging, whatever it might be, then you can set it into a separate status, something like resolved dash checked. Again, mine is a little override thing, so just ignore that. Yours would stick there. But then again, from then on your recurring invoice, you already have everything checked. So if you go over to invoices, invoice modules, recurring invoice, and you open a invoice, you can make sure that you're only pulling in pending ticket charges that have already been verified by you. So then you won't need a saved invoice search. You won't need to make any other changes. So you can say, I want to pull in pending ticket charges based on that ticket status that says invoice resolved, checked, or again, you can make any custom ticket status that's going to be an admin under ticket preferences and additional settings. So that is what I would recommend there, and hopefully that is helpful to you. I think next one at the top is from Hannah. Let us know if you're ready.
Sorry about that. Heidi has a question here. With regards to creating appointments on tickets, I would like to be able to create a an appointment that is not emailed to the customer, more to schedule my day with ticket information. Currently, every option I select sends an email to the customer, which I do not want at all. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. And here, when I'm inside a specific ticket, and then I go down to add in a ticket appointment for the client, there should be this do not email this appointment invitation. And so this should not email the client an appointment invitation for that appointment or alert them there. Also, when you're in your ticket workflows, you do have an option to set up with the ticket details to don't email the customer. And so with showing that, and then when you're opening tickets as well, you could not email over that ticket appointment.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Question in here, if you want to install, for example, Chrome, Acrobat, and Zoom to a machine, you can do that through third-party patch management and policies. I've got that. Can you install bundles and apply those to machines without having to change the policy and without using scripts? So currently, no, without using a script, you're not able to. And you also mentioned without changing policies. That's what oftentimes we would recommend doing. You could create a policy. It's very, very easy to change a device from one policy to another. So first of all, I'll show you that because we do get that question quite often. So I could find everyone with a certain policy, or I could even just randomly select devices. You might even want to set up a saved asset search. So everyone who's missing this certain application, I could select those, and then I could change the policy here. This is also where you could script. But you could create just a third-party patch management policy for those three things. Nothing else is going to be selected inside the policy, so it's almost like an ad hoc policy with just that third-party patching. I could change those devices over into that policy and let those install, and then you could change it back. That's currently the only workaround that there is, but it can definitely be done without scripting, but not without scripting or changing the policy.
Okay, next question we have is from Rob. He asks, can you explain more about Synchro vendor to vendor? We did a setup, but the other Synchro account did not see the PO request. This is a pretty simple feature, I'd say. And I'm just going to show you here just to make sure that, you did this, but I'm sure you have. So really, once you set this up, and again, you're going to set this up over here inside of your, sorry, let's go here, inside of admin, and we'll go to preferences. And then this is going to be the setting you set up. So assuming you've done this, assuming that you've come to your vendor and that you did put the Synchro subdomain of that vendor from that other Synchro account, if they did not receive the PO, then there might be an issue there. So tech support would have to take a look at that. But it should just be, you set that up, put the subdomain here. When you set the order, it sends that PO over. So just let us know if that's not working, and we'll take a look at it.
Awesome, awesome. Next question is from Rob. He says, is there a way to do a force resync agent? Yes, there is a way to force the agent to check in. The way that you do that is actually pretty simple. If you go over to any policy that is impacting that asset that you want to force a sync with, just go ahead and make sure you open that specific policy that is applying to that asset. It's in that list here. Scroll down all the way to the bottom. You don't have to make any changes or anything. Just go ahead and save the changes. It's going to say this will update the assets on this policy. Yep, good to go. And that is what will make it happen. While I'm unmuted, I'm going to grab a couple more just because they are feature requests, but I did want to address them. Anonymous asks, on the customer view screen, can the different sections be rearranged? So if we want to see the assets on top, can they be moved around? Very popular request. I will absolutely pass it along for you. Again, we want you to see the information that's the most important to you as quickly as possible. That's why we have that quick view modal all throughout the app to give you those RMM functionalities, even in the PSA section. But unfortunately, that is not currently available at this time just yet. Again, I will pass that along for you. Same thing, 2 questions from Simon. Is there a way to add the amount of leads to the dashboard, and can the dashboard be customized? Not at this time, but we do get that request often, and it is important to us, so I will pass it along.
Perfect. Another one from Bryant. So are there any plans to change the send statement feature? Currently, you can only send statements if the customer has an email address under the customer, rather than actually being able to send statements to contacts, specifically billing contacts. I think that's awesome, because you're right. Right now, it doesn't send. You don't choose like some of the reports who you're sending that to. I do want to just share, because a lot of people aren't aware that we do have statements also. So if you head over into your reports, if you go to the, I think it's the open balances by customer, you can actually send these in bulk too and just send the statements, or of course you can just choose one individual customer, but it is going to pull the main email on the account. So we will gladly pass that along as a feature request for you.
Hey, my turn. Okay. So I'm just going to go through a couple. I've got a couple feature requests actually. So one is, I'd really love to see a simple board. We can view all feature requests and comment on them. So you're in luck. This is happening. We're going to have a more traditional forum. Just hang tight with us. We do right now, of course, we've got Facebook and we've got Reddit. So, but hang tight. There's going to be something a little bit more official coming soon. And then the other one was, are there any developments with the lead CRM functionality coming? Yes, I don't have specific details, and I think this might be closer to Q2, but I do know that we have some things in mind for that module. And then the last one that I was going to grab was from Bryant. Where do I delete a portal user? And so I'm just going to share my screen. And of course, ladies, if there's an easier way to do this, what I've always done is I've gone to the customer and I've just scrolled down to where it says portal users, and I have deleted the portal user. That's the way that I've done it. I don't know if there's another way, or but yeah, you could do it that way. All right, who's up?
Looks like it's me. Yeah, Brad, so you asked, are you folks using Synchro for support tickets too? Or do you use something else? If you use it, what are your favorite things you've all done to make support easier, like ticket automations, worksheets, or scripts? So we don't use Synchro for our support system, just because simply we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. If something happens with the software, we need to be able to address it and quickly. So we do use a different ticketing system. With that being said, I've been here for a very long time. I've worked with tons of users. And one of the things that I love about Synchro that I think does make people's lives so much easier is definitely the automations. I love automations. So we have our ticket automations, we have automated remediation. And when you combine that with also our scripts, it's just, sky's the limit of what you can do. And in fact, we do have an older, I think it was another open office hours that my colleague did, Frank, regarding automated remediation, where he shows some really amazing examples there. So I really encourage you to look into those because it's powerful, and I love suggesting those to users.
Who's up? Is this Brandy? Are you up?
Sure.
Okay.
Just the asking for the weekly update on backups. Truly, we don't have one. We hear you guys, and we do apologize for announcing a date on that. But I promise it's coming soon. We don't have an ETA. As soon as we find out any details on when that's officially coming, I promise you all will be the first ones to know. We won't keep it from you. We'll probably like start off open office hours with like a banner or something. I don't know.
Huh? Yes, I think that is true. I was just gonna grab this one from Steve that says, how can I see what fields are available as platform variables in scripts? We use an unsupported AV, and I wanted to use a single workstation policy for most clients. Each customer has its own installer URL, and I was hoping to add them to an array using customer names as the key, but couldn't find that as an option. So if I'm reading this correctly, if it's per customer, you would probably use that installer URL and just create a custom field for each customer with that. Because when you're actually in the script, let me just go. Right here. And if you go to the actual script creation and select, oh, sorry, hold on, maybe not right now. Oh, there we go. Let's create a new script. I just wanted to show you that once you go add script variable, and you do choose platform, you actually can scroll and see everything you have access to. So any custom field that you've created that you can access via that script, you're going to see all of your custom fields here. Hopefully that's answering your question. If not, please, if there's any follow-up that I need to know, let me know. All right, I'm good.
Okay, I'll go ahead and jump in. We have a question from Bruce. He asks, is there a way to see what emails have been sent to a customer? Yes, there is. So and I will show this actually. Share screen. So there's several places to see it. So if you go to a customer, you can also view it from the communications here. So you're going to see all of the communications that have gone out there. Depending on if you're working on a ticket, invoice, we also put the communications to the right here. In this case, you can see it inside of the email section. If you click on that, you can see even more details and even reply from there. Further to that, if you need to see, maybe you're doing some kind of audit or something, there's also reports that you can look at all the communications. So you can come down here, look at the communication summary, and that's going to show all of the communications that have gone out. And you can even put, a custom date if you want to know what the communications were at a certain time period.
Awesome. I'll grab a couple here right from the top. Simon, this is going to be a feature request, but I did want to read it out loud. He says, SNMP items do not show status unless you select them in the asset list. Is there anywhere else we can see the status as a group, or if we add a feature request to show the green or red circle on the asset if there's an alert, or if it's an online or offline or in an okay status? For sure, I hear you. Yes, for your current Syncro RMM devices, it will show like a green online offline button, but not for the SNMP devices. So I'll definitely pass that along for you. And then I have a question here from Heidi, another feature request, but this one right here, I keep saying I will pass it along. We really do. You guys see the communication, the community development track, and how quickly we ship features. This one is, yes, absolutely on our list of very, very popular requests. It's basically for a pause timer on tickets. And yes, I will definitely pass it along for you, because I hear you on the integration and having that all in one place for sure. Last one that I'll grab here real quick from Bryant. I love this. This is like, we obviously have to speak to the team first, but I love the suggestion. He says, what is the best way to get fully trained in Synchro? Any plans for an online Synchro university with different tracks based on roles? For example, billing employee versus desktop technician versus RMM technician versus sales, to train our own employees on using Synchro. There's so many features that you've spoken about that I don't really know about, or how to even get started to use. So this is, I love this. We do host these open office hours for you guys, and based on what you need. We are not here to kind of have our own plan of what we want to talk about, the things that we think are cool. We're here to answer your questions based on what your needs are, so that you can maximize the time that you have with Synchro. So yes, we will pass this along for you. Again, training gets a little bit tricky, because we don't know how you prefer to structure your tickets, or how you prefer to resolve your issues. We are Synchro software experts, but we are not MSPs. We don't handle clients' issues. We don't sell to clients. So it's a little bit tricky, but I will definitely bring this to the team for you. Thank you.
This other question's from Garrett. He asked, residential recurring. So is the only way to capture credit card for recurring is the customer to save via their portal? Trying to figure out the best way to sell residential at checkout counter, make it reoccurring, capture payment. I was thinking to just use WooCommerce subscriptions and have them buy along via iPad, etc. But that's because I can't wrap my head around recurring in Synchro MSP. Yes, I'm 20 years break fix. MSP is new process for me. Congratulations on being in business for 20 years. That's awesome. So that's not the only way they can do it. So in my humble opinion, I think it's the easiest way, just because they have easy access to their portal and can add it there. But there are different places where you can add the stored credit card on the customer record. So let's say that that customer comes over and they want to start a subscription with you. There is going to be a stored payment profile that you can create in your store, and then from there, once the stored payment profiles there, whenever they have an invoice, whether that be recurring or not, all you would need to do is simply click on this drop down with their card, click on it, and then that you can run that payment through. So it should be about as simple as that. I'm not too familiar with the WooCommerce subscriptions. I know that we have a WooCommerce integration, but I'm not too sure how that would integrate with the subscriptions per se. I also know that we have a link that's kind of like a public link that you can put on your site that will already have the subscriptions there, so that the client can click on a subscription and subscribe that way. I'm blanking on the exact link slug, unfortunately, but I'm going to look this up and put that in the chat for you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Naomi. And I just want to say you've been super helpful, because you're just providing like a different side of insight than we have, and a lot more in depth. So we really appreciate you being here with us today. I have a question about the Malwarebytes integration. So it's not the version that he wants to use. He sees custom fields in each customer's assets now. How do I remove those custom fields globally? So if you head over into your admin section, you're going to see under customers, this is where you're going to see customer contact and asset custom fields. So if you just go into those custom fields, you're actually going to be able to delete them, so you can find whichever one it is and you can delete those globally right there. So hopefully that helps. A question about the advanced tier pricing guide. We have two features listed. One of them, automated database backups. I hope that means we, the client, get a copy of the data, not that Synchro only runs backups if you pay more. That is absolutely correct. You get either nightly or monthly data dumps into your Dropbox account. Synchro does back up the data regardless. So don't worry about that, I promise. Steve is asking, have we mentioned any of the features or planned features for the Mac agent yet? We have not mentioned them on here. If you guys did join our fireside chat, I think that was in December. It's hard to believe it's been like 2 months, but they're very open and honest about the Mac agent being a top priority for us this year. No ETA or feature timeline there, but I know it's definitely top of the list. We're saying it on video for you. So there you go. And then question about the best way to import users. Switching from ConnectWise Automate, the template doesn't work. So if you have tried the importer and you're having issues with it, please let our team know, because they will absolutely look into that. We've had a lot of you using the importer, and we've made some tweaks and changes and added some great new fields there for you too. So if you want to work with support on that, they can assist you. Otherwise, if you do want to import your customers on your own, you can go into the admin section. You can go down to customers and you can do a customer import here. And then I also like to mention too, if you want to import the contacts under that particular customer, you can go to contacts and you can import right here. So hopefully that helps you there. I think I've got maybe 1 or 2 more in here. I just want to say a huge shout out to Bob, because 40 years for me in IT this month. It's February, right? Yes, that is like outstanding. So I just want to say that's awesome. And congratulations.
Yes. Woohoo. Good job. That's amazing. Okay. Is there a way to send an email from a ticket to a third party that isn't the ticket contact? Example, user A creates a ticket for user B. I need to email user B on the ticket, but want to keep the ticket assigned to user A. All I can think of would be adding them as a CC, which isn't ideal, or swapping the ticket comment and then remembering to swap it back. Giles, we hear you. Tatiana just told me about this feature request, and it has now been escalated up to the product team. So, yes, right now it is a CC type of thing, and we're working on it. So thank you for bringing that up. And then the other one from Giles, I use ticket custom fields to provide extra fields to collect extra data via dropdown, which is awesome. But you're saying I'm unable to drill down into my field dropdowns for assigning workbooks automatically. It only lets me pick the top level custom field. Correct. So, and I'm assuming you're meaning worksheets, but yes, worksheets will only auto attach based upon the main custom field, not the additional fields that you have within that custom field in a ticket. So that would be a feature request at this point. And then Bryant, do you know if authorized.net eCheck feature works with Synchro? I don't know. I don't believe the eCheck works. I know that you can do credit card processing through authorized.net and Syncro, and then any updates on ACH providers besides WorldPay. Not officially. I know that that's something that we're working on. So kind of keep your eyes out on that one. And I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll grab this one at the top from Jeremy. He supports the Synchro U idea. Says maybe some playlists on your existing YouTube content. Someone who knows the content could put something together in best viewing order to make the Synchro U sales dash tech support dash RMM technician, things like that. So yes, great idea, Bryant. Definitely. We do have something real quick, actually, if you guys haven't seen our YouTube channel, we do try to organize our YouTube channel based off of subject. And we do have like a deep dives section as well. So when we have guests from our technical support team, like Naomi mentioned, Frank was here with the automated remediation. Carla was here with the ticket automation. If you tab over to playlists, we do the deep dive recordings here, but maybe we could, or like billing training, things like that, but maybe we could do it on like a role per person on your team to make that as easy and as organized as possible. So super appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's a great, great recommendation. And then I'll grab this one real quick from Mark. He says, I can set up Slack notifications for individual channels. For example, send application, or can I set up Slack notifications for individual channels? For example, send application uninstall alerts to hashtag uninstall, send application installed alerts to hashtag installed. I'm guessing I need to make individual webhooks for each notification channel, but I don't want to receive duplicate alerts based on the main webhook integration. Yeah, I do think, what I would test, again, this is going to be up to you to test this, but let me share my screen here real quick, because you can have within the notifications section under more, whoops, more admin notification center. In here, you can have multiple notification sets. So I don't know if that would be the best workaround, but that's something that you could try, because in each notification set, you can select yourself multiple times. So, and then you can set up like different webhooks there. So maybe that would be helpful to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tatiana. I just wanted to make a comment real quick since we don't really have questions in here. Bob has a really, really awesome comment towards us. And I just want to say thank you because you guys are awesome. And that's why we love doing this. And it was our idea to randomly do this one day in a meeting. We're like, you know what, let's do this. And we started off just doing it once a month and it's been amazing. And you all continue to come and you impress us with your questions and you're learning from each other and sharing with each other. And so we're like, we're going to do it every week. And now we do it for our trial users as well. So thank you, Jeremy, as well. Like, we appreciate you all. You're the reason we want to do this. We do it because we want to.
That is for sure. It's like we say it almost every weekend. It's like the highlight of the week. We end the week on a Friday high note, and it's so fun. And we appreciate you all, and we hope that you keep coming back. Especially, if this is your first time, please join us next week. We'll be here every Friday at the same time. Let's see here. So, kind of crazy. I literally just messaged and on like the back end, I was like, this morning I actually have a hard stop right at the hour and I'm going to make sure everything wraps up on time. And here we are, no questions in the Q&A. And so I guess we can just take the moment. I want to thank Naomi. And I think on behalf of all of us, we appreciate your time so much. Like Brandy said, the perspective is very different than what we're seeing every day. So we definitely appreciate that. And I know our users do as well.
Yeah, pleasure was all mine. Glad to be here. And thanks for everything. You all are amazing. This has been great for me too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Friday.
Bye.
Bye.